Best of r/Tales from Tech Support episode 16. My friends generally have some idea of what I do, so I become their go-to tech problem guy. They always call up and say their laptop just now stopped working. I run over to see what the problem is. Almost invariably, when I pull up Event Viewer, the last time they logged into their laptop was 6 months to 18 months ago. You are just now telling me the problem? I painstakingly fix whatever it is if it's not hardware related. The painstaking part is usually waiting forever for all the Windows updates to load. They are so grateful. After all that work, on 3 separate occasions, they were like, "Do you just want to keep the laptop? I don't even use it anymore." For Seslap. I guess they felt guilty that they couldn't pay me. Oh well, I just scored another laptop. Thank you. Next. My third post and second about state government. TLDR at bottom. This story is about one of the single-cell amoeba that managed to get hired working for government. So this is one of the mainframe users. They existed in the 90s still, with reel-to-reel tape backup and print jobs you picked up from a window. We'll call him Bob, the user, not the mainframe. Let me say I know nothing about mainframes, then or now, but we get a call that Bob's password isn't working on the mainframe. The guy who handles mainframe support is out for the day, so I end up with the call. I ring his desk and he won't work with me. Demands that I come up to the top floor and help him. Reluctantly I take the trip up. Fortunately the building has escalators and elevators. I get up there and find Bob. Bob says that the mainframe won't take his password. I tell him to try while I'm here to see the process. He does. Username. Bob is bad at spelling. Foreshadowing right here folks. Password. Bad password. Access denied. Or whatever the bad password message is that I can't remember. I ask him to try again. No luck. Me. Are you sure you're not typing it wrong? Bob. Definitely not. Me. One more time. Bob sighs and again it fails. Me. Okay Bob, let me try. Well, get a support ticket going to change your password if you're uncomfortable with giving it to me. Bob. It's my last name. It's a weird last name, but certainly he knows it well. How could he get it wrong? Me. Spell it. Bob. KWYJIBO. Thanks Bart. I type it slowly as he spells and hit enter. Mainframe. Welcome, Bob. We log him out and I ask him to try again. Slew Ali. He did. It worked. Dude, couldn't even spell his last name. /facepums all around. TLDR. Bob's password doesn't work. Turns out his password was his last me and he was apparently misspelling it over and over. Edit. A lot of good discussion going on. Thanks all. Let me be clear about my mainframe reference. What I'm referring to is a mainframe system that has long outlived its practicality. In this case we are talking something from the 70s that was still in use in 1999. I get that modular supercomputer style mainframes are quite a big thing today. I just can't fathom why anyone would use 30-year-old technology on a large scale, even though I know why the state was doing it. It cost them so much in the 1970s that the rule said it still had a value, depreciation I guess, and they couldn't replace it. Even though I'm sure they spent more than they paid for it on Y2K compliance. We did have a server room full of x86 architecture running Windows and Novell, but they were used for email, file storage, etc. and not the record keeping or ledger items stored on the mainframe. We also had a room full of terminals, 12i thin, staff 24 hours a day doing data entry to the mainframe from all the paper docs still in use coming in from over 300 remote offices. Thank you. Next. My phone rang. This, in and of itself, is not an unusual occurrence. I checked the caller ID. It was coworker, CW. He's a good guy, and actually quite a good technician as well. However, much like myself, he covers a lot of gear over a very large physical area. CW. Gee, I need help, mate. ME. Sure, hit me. CW. I'm setting up a new POS system for customer. Oh, great. Customer once decided that they'd spent enough time working with me on a store closing issue, so ended the call, despite the fact that the issue was not resolved, and if I'd left, no one would have been trying to fix the problem that was preventing the store from trading. Way to support your franchisees, I guess. CW. and everything seems to be working. ME. But, you wouldn't be calling if there wasn't a but. CW. Yeah, when I try to do a transaction that requires approval, like buying cigarettes or alcohol, it refuses the manager's swipe card. If they type it in, it's fine, but if they try to scan, it fails. ME. That's weird. But the scanner is working every other time? Just this one approval fails? CW. Yes. Everywhere else, it scans perfectly. It's weird. But here's the other thing, not all of them fail. Some of the manager's barcodes work fine. ME. What? CW. I know. ME. Hang on, I've got a thought here. Can you give me some examples of the numbers that work, and the numbers that don't? CW. Sure, I'll make a list and email them through shortly. It was a dumb idea, but it was the only one I had. I started building a simple function that would convert an ASCII character to binary, bit binary under different options, 8 none 1, 7 even 1, 7 odd 1, and so on. Then I could compare if the output of 8 none 1 matched that of 7 odd 1. My theory, at the time, was that somehow, and it was beyond reason to me at the time as to why it should, but somehow, when that one particular field launched, the comport options were being changed. So the barcodes that worked just happened to consist entirely of characters that had the same binary sequence under the new settings and the old. Sure enough, the working barcodes were numbers like 7,841,284, where all characters encoded the same under 8 none 1 as they would under 7 even 1. Bolstered by this result, I put in a phone call to the customer's technical support, TS, eventually getting hold of a technician I'd worked with previously. Nice enough kid, but he seemed better suited to being a voice-operated password reset system than investigating a particularly complex and unusual issue. TS. Hi, TS speaking. ME. Hi TS, it's Gambit from company. Currently CW is setting up a new system at store for you. However, he's struck an issue with this transaction authorization field. It seems that sometimes the manager's barcodes work, other times, they do not. To me, it looks like this could be an issue with the communications settings for the port, but only if the authorization field has its own settings, separate from the main program. Is there any separate configuration for that particular field? TS. No, it uses the same configuration as the main program. Everything is the same. If there's an issue, it must be with the hardware that you've provided and are installing. ME. Well, as I said, it's only this authorization field. Correct data is being passed for all other parts of the POS application, so it doesn't look like a hardware issue. TS. Okay, I'll look into it and let you know what I find. I hung up, confident that the issue would be resolved shortly with a message of I checked the documentation and it does have its own configuration. Check this location. My phone rung. Technical manager, TM, is calling. I wonder what that could be about. TM. I hear you're having trouble at store? ME. Well, there's one issue where the manager barcodes aren't being read correctly. They scan properly in the main application but not the authorization field. TM. Replace the scanner. ME. But it's not the TM. Replace the scanner. I just had TS on the phone complaining about the equipment we provide, so if there's an issue, replace it immediately. ME. Okay, we'll replace it. We'll have to jump through the usual hoops to get the scale on the new unit certified, but fine. But I bet it's not the hardware. TM. Whatever, just make it happen. And so I did. Over the next 3 days, CW and I worked through every feasible combination of settings across multiple scanner/scales, with no success. The closest we could get was the scanner working perfectly everywhere but the authorization field, where it would work as long as the barcode only consisted of the numbers 1, 2, 4, 7, or 8. Finally, towards the end of the 3rd day, I received an email from CW to Gambit from CW subject, FWD, try this. This might help. Forwarded content begins. Hi CW. There's a configuration file for the authorization field located at c/pos/ifskin_nuit/config XML that might have the settings you need to adjust in it. TS. As you might imagine, I let some choice words rip in the privacy and sanctity of my office. It was literally the very first question I asked. On the plus side, we did charge an exorbitant amount for the 3 days of work, so I was slightly mollified that they at least had to pay handsomely for my time. TS eventually moved on to a different company. I believe he provides support to a completely different industry now. Thank you. Next. Long time reader, first time poster. Cabling tech in an investment bank. Just had this happen in a single email chain. AV tech. Cabling. Please plug this teleconferencing unit into the network and tell me the switch port so I can request the LAN be changed to teleconferencing. Me. Done. AV tech. Network operations. Please change the VLAN of this switch port to teleconferencing. Network operations. Network deployment. Please change the VLAN of this switch port to teleconferencing. Network deployment. I can't as there's a device plugged into this line. AV tech. Pops off to lunch. Network operations. Cabling. Please assist. Me. Yes, the teleconferencing unit is plugged into that line. Network deployment. I cannot risk service interruption to the device by resetting the port. AV tech. Goes on sabbatical. Me. There's no service to interrupt. It's a teleconferencing device, not on a teleconferencing VLAN. As of this moment, it's a giant paperweight on a desk. Network deployment. Network operations. Network operations. Can you disconnect the device off hours so we can reset the port without disrupting service? AV tech. Writes great American novel. Me. How is there any service to disrupt if this never worked to begin with? You know what? Done. It's disconnected. Network deployment. Thank you. We will wait until after hours to reset the port. Me. Loses mind. Thank you. Next. I love reading this stuff, but never share. But today I got a dilly of a call. Client. Our company is having a problem connecting to your site. I need to know if there's a recommended minimum connection speed to use for your site. Me. A dial-up modem would work. Client. Right. But is there a minimum speed you'd recommend? Me. They're not streaming movies from us. They're just downloading a web page with text on it. Client. But they're having a problem connecting. Me. Then they need to call their ISP. I don't have that problem and I haven't been getting flooded with calls from clients or customers saying they can't connect. Client. Right. That's what I thought too. I'll have them call their ISP. Me. Okay. Thank you. Next. I want to preface this by saying that A. Downtime procedures are in place for when you can't work a system / it's down in healthcare, and B. Asking for help makes you no less a man, and C. Don't be rude to people you're trying to get help from. Another quick note to clarify, there is a menu when you call into the help desk for this specific software or for the regular IT help desk. It's very clear which you should pick if you know what the software is / have questions about it or anything relating to it. I am the regular help desk person and transfer straight to that number usually. But, if you're rude I will do my job and that is all. No extra information, no further guidance, just answers to what you ask and that's all. For example, $me, regular LA greeting, just need a name and number. $Dr. Rude crude face, I am Dr. Rude crude face and I need the people to tell me how to order fluids. Are you them? This in a heavily accented, like an 80s movie villain on the other side of the wall, voice. $Dr. Rude crude face, if you're not them I don't want to be wasting my time with you. If you're going to start with a rude tone, and a demand, I don't care who you are or what your job title is. Even if it is tech support for wetware, I mean doctor. So, I'll answer your questions very precisely. $me, I am not. So, $Dr. Rude crude face, then who do I call? What's their number? $me, that'd be other line, with the software option. $. Rude crude face, I just called there, heard no dat option. Where is this people? $me, at that number I just gave you. $. Rude crude face, I have to do this order now, just tell me how. $me, I don't know how in that software. Perhaps you can ask a colleague. At this point, in the background, I hear a co-worker offer to allow him to use their terminal to input the order. Specifically stated that way. His response, you ask? Well, just as congenial as can be. He practically spits out in an acidic tone. I don't want to use you terminal. I want them to fix men like some bad horror movie trope. I can't over-exaggerate this accent. $DR. Rude aim crude face. What is operator number? $me. This. He hangs up. I get a call from the operator a few minutes later. $nice lady. Hi, help desk. I've got a doctor on the line looking for the software line, and he said you all gave him the wrong number. $me. Oh, you mean doctor? Rude aim crude face. Yay, he asked for the operator after being told we couldn't assist him. Sorry you had to deal with that. Go ahead and patch him through to me since I sent him your way. It's only fair. $nice lady. Oh, he hung up. $me. How very unfortunate for us both. $nice lady. MMHMM. You have a good one. Bye. Maybe I should have labeled him Count Chocula. Then again, the Count never managed a medical degree. Thank you. Next. A classic tale that has happened to me way too many times. Corporate pushes out a new VPN program to all VPN users' machines. They send out instructions on how to use the new software and what to do to get it ready to use. Token app installed on mobile. After a few days I see about 20 plus users still not complete with their token app, so I send out an email with the instructions again and a list of employees still not complete. I get an email from a user asking was the VPN program installed a few weeks ago with the updates. I said I am not sure when it was installed, but that corporate had pushed it out with updates. Is it on your machine? User, that is what I am asking you. How can I tell? Me, please read the first page of the instructions that was attached which tell you how to start the program. User, can't you just come by here and do this for us? Me, of course I can. However, this information, being able to locate and use the actual program, is going to be a skill that you will need to learn for yourself. Please read the instructions.